Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Anmoll Astrology channel. Now, today's video is about a question which I get the most times whenever I'm conducting, QA sessions, or otherwise I've seen people commenting under the videos. So the main question they have is how and when to use D1 chart, the Dasha chart, and the moon chart. What is the difference between these three charts and how do we use them? So, for that, I have actually made a sort of differentiated, you know, PDF. Just a second. Okay. So I've divided the usage, or to understand the importance of these three charts, I've divided into almost, I guess, 6 points. Okay. So first, you need to understand the natal chart, or the D1 chart is the most important chart, right? That is the primary chart which is to be used. It is used for all types of predictions. By all types of predictions, I mean, if you want to use for general analysis, you're going to use the D1 chart, right? Then if you're going to use a chart for transits and stuff like that, again you are going to require to use the D1 chart. So it is the primary chart. It is a very important chart, right? Then the second one is moon chart. Moon chart simply means that you take moon as your ascendant and you study the chart from there. So that's, in a way, on a whole, a secondary chart to refer to other than the ascendant chart. You will see most of the people in the southern direction of India are actually using moon chart more than the D1 chart. But you know why moon chart predictions resonate with people? It is not like that D1 chart predictions will actually match with the particular native, but moon chart won't. Because actually, in some cases, the predictions related to the moon chart or Chandra chart matches more, because that's about how you are feeling about the circumstances. See, anything and everything can be going around within your surroundings, right? That's your D1 chart. What is happening with your soul purpose? What is happening in your surroundings? How things are working out in your surroundings, right? But how you are feeling about it, that's what you know. That something is not a part of prediction, but it's like, this is happening with me. So whenever an astrologer communicates that to you, you'll resonate more. Just like, in the tarot, right? Whenever you go and search online on YouTube for a tarot video, you are going to resonate a lot, because your tarot is basically catching on your vibrations. And whatever you are feeling, when you listen that to, through the other person's mouth, you'll be like, this person is very accurate, right? So the accuracy level of the moon chart is also there, but there are certain techniques where moon chart is more prominently used rather than the natal chart, but otherwise natal chart holds the primary position. Okay, I'm not going to divide them into percentages, because then what happens, the particular chart which has certain, the less percentage is actually considered the least important, right? So in astrology, it's nothing like one thing is important and the other is not. It's just the technique. Different charts are used for different techniques. Okay, so that's why, just understand, the natal chart is primary, the moon chart is secondary, and the dasha chart is tertiary. Because dasha chart is actually used whenever you are going to predict for a dasha. Whenever you are going to predict, suppose if you are going through a Rahu Mahadasha, you'll take Rahu in the ascendant and then you'll study the chart. And that is going to resonate only when you are going through the Rahu Mahadasha. Suppose you're going through Jupiter Mahadasha, take Jupiter in the ascendant and study the chart through that. You'll resonate with it only when Jupiter Mahadasha is going around. Okay, so that's how we use it. use it. The second point is the use. Basically, D1 is what is bound to happen in your life. D1 predictions is like what is going to happen. You may or may not feel it like you'll do with the moon chart, but that is bound to happen. And then for the moon chart, what effects the native will have psychologically. Suppose there's a person A who is experiencing similar situation such as the person B, right? Because why? Because both of them have similar ascendants. Suppose both of them are Cancer ascendants. Rahu is right now in the sign of Aries. So Rahu is in the 10th house for a Cancer individual. So the person is going to have major shift in career. Both A and B are going to have major shift in the career. Right? But how they are going to feel about that particular change, that depends on their moon chart. So now, so as to understand that how this particular change or this particular complication within their authority or within their career, how the person is reacting towards it. Is the person feeling good about it, that yes, I'm being challenged, I want to go ahead, I want to increase my authority, I want to become something? Or if the person is getting disturbed from that and chooses to leave their workspace. Now, this thing you are going to understand when you'll know it. You'll see the transit from the moon chart. Supposingly, the person A has moon in the 9th house in the sign of Pisces. So that means they are actually trying to accumulate money or find different sources of money because of this particular change. But it is also exhausting their savings. But in a way, the money flow is there. Okay, because it's second from moon. So a person is very focused on how they are going to perceive that, how they are going to get that money, right? And suppose the person B is the sign of Scorpio, that means this individual's Rahu is actually transiting 6th from its moon. That means the person is actually accumulating debts. The person is unable to pay off their bills, pay off their debts. So this particular situation within their career is actually creating a lot of problem for them. Why? Because they have to deal with the debt situation. They have to work hard. They have to be workaholics. See, Rahu in the 6th house is not bad. That is actually a better position than Rahu in the 2nd house. But we need to see that what are the steps. Basically, first you see from the D1 chart, it was transiting originally in the 10th house. Now you are watching Rahu's position from the moon. When it was second from the moon, the more concentration is about the regeneration of the income, right? So the person is looking around with that perspective. But when you see for a Scorpio moon, it's already, moon is debilitated, the person gets a lot of pressure, then Rahu is coming into the 6th house, so they are forced to deal with conflicts, they are forced to deal with problems within their politics, within their work situation, between their colleagues, and then they have to also deal with money matters, right? So that's why a person will feel conflicted there. So that is the difference when you see first from the natal chart and then from the moon chart. So moon chart is going to tell you how psychologically a person is feeling about it and what is the focus of an individual, right? Then the dasha chart. Dasha chart is used to predict the results for a specific dasha and antar dasha. Like suppose you are going through Rahu Mahadasha and Jupiter Antardasha. So first you'll cast a chart for Rahu Mahadasha. So Rahu Mahadasha, take Rahu in the ascendant, then study the chart accordingly. And wherever Jupiter is placed from Rahu, since it is the Antardasha Lord, that will tell you that which particular planets are getting activated. Okay. So next, predictions given by each of these charts. So for D1, it is given, general predictions are given and event predictions are given. D1 chart basically gives you general predictions, whatever your ascendant is, wherever your moon is, wherever your Venus is, wherever your Jupiter is, you're going to have a conclusive analysis of that, right? That's the general prediction. Then event prediction. D1 also tells you about the event prediction. Just know about the transits, just know about what Mahadasha and Antardasha is going around, see which houses it is activating, and you'll know about the event predictions also. Then the moon chart. Moon chart is actually used for event predictions. It could be general predictions, but only related to the emotional state of a person. Okay. And decision making for a native. The Dasha chart, the last chart, is used for event predictions. Just similarly, as I said, that see which Mahadasha you are going through, just cast the chart for that and then study it. Now, house activation, that's very simple. Dasha planet activates houses it is placed in, and the houses, the planet, and its nakshatra rules. So that is very simple. We know Sagittarius, Jupiter is in the fourth house. So the first house gets activated, the fourth house gets activated. Suppose the person's Jupiter is in Uttar Bhadrapada nakshatra and the Saturn is in the fifth house. So that means the first house, the second house, the third house, the fourth house, and the fifth house gets activated. So the person is going to get the results of those particular houses. And suppose same thing you have to do with the moon chart. So whenever you study through a moon chart, that how the dasha is actually going to play its role emotionally with a person or psychologically with a person, just make the moon chart. Now if a person is Sagittarius ascendant but they are Cancer moon, that means the moon is in the 8th house, right? So that means for that particular individual, Jupiter Mahadasha will actually activate the 6th house and then the 9th house. And since Jupiter is already placed there and Saturn is in the 10th house, it is going to activate 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th houses. So a person is going to experience a lot of psychological setbacks. I would say there will be a lot of higher learnings because of their experiences, because of their arguments, or maybe because of the divorce, because the sixth lord, the sixth house, the seventh lord, the seventh house, 8th house, 9th house, 10th house, everything is getting activated. And the lords of the 10th is of the 7th and the 8th are debilitated in the 10th house, which is Saturn. So a person is going to transform a lot because of relationships, and their career is going to be at a verge. Many things are going to change for this particular individual, especially emotionally. And most of these things which this person is going to actually experience, that is going to be based on a lot of lessons to be learned by them. Okay, a lot of karmic lessons, you can say. Okay, so that's how you study through moon. Like now, from the dasha chart, now you know the Jupiter Mahadasha is going around. Just take Jupiter into the ascendant. So Jupiter, it will become a Pisces ascendant with Jupiter in the ascendant, and the nakshatra lord goes into the second house. Now you know which houses are getting activated. It's the 10th, 11th, 12th, 1st, and 2nd. Okay, and this person is, although suppose Jupiter Mahadasha is there and Saturn's Antardasha is there, although Saturn is debilitated in the second house, but this particular individual is going to have like a situation where they'll actually, I won't say they'll lose some money, but because of a very rift decision of them in respects of money in Jupiter Saturn Mahadasha, this person might actually obtain money out of some sort of loss. This person is actually going to gain something out of a loss or losing situation. Okay, so now the weightage of this particular prediction is actually going to be a lot more. Why? Because we are funneling down the predictions, right? When we are talking about a particular dasha, that's something which is definitely going to happen. See, the D1 predictions are this way, that is basically scattered around over all of your life. But what is going to happen in the present, what is going to happen in the possible future, that's the dasha and antardasha. So that's why whenever you study about dasha and antardasha and the house activations, the dasha chart becomes primary. Okay, then the D1 chart becomes secondary, and then the moon chart is there so as to feel how psychological effects this particular dasha or antardasha is giving you. Okay, now the next is importance of that particular chart. So natal chart is most important while predicting transits. Moon chart is most important while predicting Sadesati and transit. So always and always, whenever you study Sadesati, first use the natal chart for Sadesati, because it is going to give you the concept of how circumstances are going to fold out. But since Sadesati happens when Saturn travels, a house before moon, over moon, and a house after moon, right? That's why the importance of moon is there in Sadasati. That's why the results from a moon chart can be easily and accurately guessed for Sarasati. So whenever you're going to learn or whenever you are going to analyze through Sarasati, use the natal chart and use the moon chart, because moon chart is the most important there. But do not forget to use ascendant chart or the natal chart also, because that also holds good amount of importance there. Okay, then the dasha chart is most important while predicting dasha results. Okay, now lastly, the planets. D1 chart is neutral for all planets, and Dasha chart is also neutral for all planets. So any planet Mahadasha comes around, any planet's transits come around, you're going to study that through D1 chart or the Dasha chart. But specifically for the moon chart, you need to refer to the moon chart whenever you are analyzing the transits of Rahu and Ketu, whenever you are analyzing the dasha of Rahu and Ketu, because those are the nodes of the moon. Those are connected with the moon more than the ascendant. That's why when you are giving the predictions of Rahu and Ketu through a moon chart, you're going to get highest amount of accuracy. But that doesn't mean that the ascendant doesn't hold that accuracy. It's just the percentage is a little, it's little different. With moon chart, it is going to be a snapshot technique and a snapshot prediction. But with the natal chart, it is going to be of less importance, but the event prediction is going to be there. Okay, so I hope you guys are very, very clear about how and when you're going to use these charts and how to differentiate between which chart is used where. Okay, so I didn't want to make this particular video very long, because this was just about the basic info, so that you just know the basics of astrology, that how and when to use it. chart, rather than I would have entered a lot of examples over here, but I think adding on so many examples can be very confusing. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you guys now know that what is the importance of these three charts and how and when to use them. Okay, if you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. If you guys would like to have your personal readings from me, you can check out the link below, www.anmollastrology.com, and under the consultation section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. And if you are a learner of astrology and you already have knowledge of astrology, you can also refer to the unique reading section, where it is where the readings are more in-depth and more discussion oriented and explanatory. Okay, guys, see you next time. Bye bye, take care.